अभी मत लाओ, बाहर नहीं लो।
Harsh, can you unmute, sir? I think you've muted him.
Yeah, I have made him the co-host.
Okay, all right.
Guys, I hope you can hear me now.
Yeah, sir, you're audible.
All right, wonderful. Good evening, everyone. My name is Ravi Kabra. I am the same guy you've been seeing on the screen a few minutes back. Just wave out your hands to me and say hi if you can hear me clearly. Great, awesome. That's great energy out there. So yes, guys, my name is Ravi, and I'm the co-founder of a very fun-loving brand called Skippy Ice Pops. Okay, not many. That's all right. We'll get there. So Skippy Ice Pops has been founded by me and my wife, Anuja Kabra. We are the co-founders of this brand or this company. Now, what do you mean by co-founders? I'm sure you guys would be thinking, what's a co-founder? I have been finding, lost toys or lost boxes or lunch boxes. What is a founder here? So basically, founder is a person who actually finds a good gap in the market or a good problem to solve in the market, and then he creates a brand or a company out of it, and then he leads from the front, right? So we are one of the founders. We have been actively trying to promote the Skippy Ice Pops, which is our flagship brand. Now, what is an ice popsicle? I don't know if your colleges or if your schools have got these canteens where they sell these colorful ice Pepsis or not. But in my school days, when I was in my school, we used to have these ice Pepsis, ice colas. Sometimes we used to call them chuski, and it was pretty cool product to have. Unfortunately, for the last 15-20 years, a lot of people have not enjoyed these ice popsicles or ice Pepsi because the schools have stopped promoting them because they were harmful, made from dirty water, made from dirty colors or artificial flavors as well. But now we have just come back with the product into the market, and we are doing extremely well. So, guys, I want to talk about something as what is entrepreneurship, and what would you as a kid think about entrepreneurship as? So let me tell you, getting into some kind of a business is what a businessman does, but an entrepreneur is a person who finds a big problem in the market, and then he or she starts moving towards finding a big solution for this problem. That is what is an entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship may always not be about making money. It could sometimes be about solving a major problem, and sometimes it could be about solving the problem and also making money, right? In my case with Skippy Ice Pops, the problem that we identified was there was no ice Pepsis in the market. Everybody wanted to have it, but unfortunately they did not get a chance to have it. The second one was all the Pepsis or the Chuskis which were there at the street level were made from dirty water. It was made from dirty colors, artificial flavors, which your parents, me as a parent, I would not want my kids to have, right? Does your mom and dad allow you to have those artificial flavors and colors? In the chat box, just write yes or no. Do they allow you? No, right? No. Okay, that's great. So see, none of your parents are allowing you to have those artificial colors. When I was a kid, I used to enjoy that red color across my entire mouth. When I used to have these artificial colors, it was so fancy. I used to make it red, or I used to make it green and then share it around with my friends. But today, when you do that, your parents are going to scold you for actually trying such kind of artificial things because they are harmful to all of us. So what we did is we introduced this product in the market with 100% natural colors and natural flavors, which were not harmful to the kids, which are not harmful to any parents also in case if they tried. So see, there was a problem and we identified a solution to it. We got the product into the market once again, and that is how we know that the entire product is now becoming successful. So that is exactly what an entrepreneur does. They identify a problem and they try to find a solution. Few of the they work in the food industry, creating healthy food. Few of them create healthy chocolates. Few entrepreneurs are talking and working about recycling, going green, saving planet Earth. Few entrepreneurs are talking about creating technology which could help blind people. There are technologies for driverless car. We all know what Google is doing, right? So there are all these entrepreneurs who are trying to work to make life and this planet better. So that is what is entrepreneurship. The difference between entrepreneurship and a businessman is a businessman usually works to make money, but an entrepreneur, he or she works to make life better for someone else. The bigger the problem, the bigger the challenge will be. But that is the excitement for an entrepreneur to work on it. All right. So what happens now? So when say example, in case if one of you get an idea that why don't I use this plastic? It is thrown across all the streets. It makes the streets dirty. Why don't I do something about it? And maybe you will come up with an idea that why don't I make some kind of a shoes out of these waste plastic? Or why don't I make some kind of a nice jacket for myself with this waste plastic? And then that idea you need to start working on to make it a viable business, something which you can scale, something which you can actually really solve a big problem. But you can't do it all alone, can you? You cannot. You will need friends, family, and a good team to actually solve a problem. Because, like I said, the bigger the problem, the much difficulty it will become. So when you start collecting all your friends, when you start joining with your friends, you will need co-founders, you will need good friends, you will need someone who can handle cash, someone who can actually handle transportation, someone who can do accounting for you, who can handle the money as well. So that is where you come up with a term called startups. So you basically create a startup company. Skippy Ice Pops currently is a startup company because we are very small right now, right? We are trying to make it big in the industry. So we are called as a startup because it's our initial days in the industry. But as and when we grow bigger and bigger, then we will no longer be called a startup, but we will be an established company. So as a startup, what you need to do is you need to focus on creating a nice team for yourself. You need to get your friends on board who can become the co-founders, who can have a clear vision the way you want. You might want to make India plastic free. You might want to create some more healthy food, or you might want to create a robot or a drone which could go and take surveillance of the fields and of the farmers. So there are a lot of problems that one can identify and solve them. But to do that, it can never happen by yourself. You'll need people. So in my case, what happened? I saw that Ice Popsicle was such an exciting product that everyone would love to have it. But I couldn't do it alone. So whom did I get first? Any guesses, guys? Do you want to write on the chat box? Who do you think was my first partner? My first partner in crime? Your wife, your wife. Oh, yes, that's right. So I took my wife as my co-founder. She was equally excited to be a part of this brand. So I told her that, hey, look, this is something exciting that I found. There is a problem in the market. All the kids and the parents, they want to have an Ice Popsicle, but they're not finding any good brands that they can trust. So I decided to tell her everything, and she was equally excited. I saw that she was passionate enough. So I said, why don't we do it together? So my wife joined in. So she was the first team member. And sooner or later, I saw that my team slowly grew to 5 members, to 8 members. Today, we are about 24 people working in Skippy Ice Pops. And as we speak today, my team will grow to about 100, 150 people very soon. So that is a startup, a company where people would love to join together for a common cause, a common problem that is to be solved. Yeah. All right. So that is how a startup is made. That is what a co-founder is. And I've also explained to you what is that we are trying to achieve. Every startup, every entrepreneur is trying to solve a good problem here. All right. And now let me tell you about what is Shark Tank. Now, see, it was very lucky. It was very fascinating and amazing experience that we as a brand got a chance to be at Shark Tank. But let me tell you what all goes into being at the show. It doesn't happen just with that. We had to put in a lot of hard work, a lot of efforts to actually reach to the Shark Tank level. Let me tell you some numbers which will fascinate you. Do you guys know how many startups actually applied on Shark Tank India? Can anyone put it on a chat box? Any numbers which comes to your mind? How many companies actually came up? You guys are pretty smart. All right. I'm getting some numbers here. Okay, very close. So yes, one of you guys have mentioned yes, 66,000 companies applied, 66,000 startups. How big is that number? Anvika has written some billions of numbers there, but that's all right. 66,000, yes. So out of 66,000, do you know how many got shortlisted? Let's see that if you can get that number. How many companies got shortlisted? Wow, you guys know your numbers. 198, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. So 198 to be a part of the show. Imagine 66,000 to 198. And do you know how many companies actually got funded in Shark Tank? How many of them raised money in Shark Tank? Put it on the chat box. Let me see if you guys know about that. No, not there yet. 50, 48. No, guys. Okay, 67. Yes, someone has written that there. Only 67 companies or startups actually got funded over there. In terms of percentage, can you guys do a quick math and tell me how much percent is that? If 66,000 companies have applied, how much percentage actually got funded? Because 67 got funded, right? 0.1%. That's right. 0.1% got funded. Is that an easy thing to do, guys? No, right? It's not an easy task. So, yes, we have been one of the startups to actually get shortlisted in Shark Tank India, to go through 5 different rounds, and then finally we were able to get the funding as well from the sharks. Now, for those who do not know what is Shark Tank India, Shark Tank is basically a reality TV show. We have got Big Boss today, we have got Saregama, we have got the Dance India Dance. All these are reality TV shows, right? Similarly, the other reality TV show, which is very popular in the US, in Canada, UK, Australia, is Shark Tank. In UK, it is called Dragon's Den. In some other country, it is called Shark Tank itself. But it is, I think, more than 20, 25 countries where Shark Tank is actually present. You guys watch it every day. That's wonderful. It's an amazing series that you should be watching. So Shark Tank India is a concept where 5 different investors, or 6 sometimes, they're sitting there, and startups like us will walk onto the platform, tell them about your idea, tell them about your brand, your company, your startup trying to solve, and then make them understand that this business can solve a bigger problem, and that we can all make a lot of money out of it as well. Because these are investors, right? These people invest money into your company, into your brand, because they want to make more and more money. They are definitely passionate about your purpose of the business. They are equally passionate to solve the same problem that you are trying to solve, but the bigger agenda that they have in their mind is that they want to make the most important thing that we need to remember. So we also did the same thing. We had initially done, a lot of paperwork. We went through a few auditions. You know how the film auditions happen? Similarly, we had an audition also in Bangalore. We went down there, me and my wife Anuja. We both spoke well over there. We then got shortlisted for Mumbai. And going down to Mumbai was an amazing experience. 4 days we were in Bombay, in one of those studios of Reliance, and we did rehearsals for days before we came in front of the camera. And it was a great experience because 15 cameras looking at us. There were 5 different sharks, we call them, right? And all of them are prominent entrepreneurs themselves. So that way, we really enjoyed being there. And finally, when we gave our pitch, you have just seen the video, everyone just loved the product. They tried it, they tasted it, and they said, yeah, this is amazing. We want to invest in your company. We want to invest in your company. And we were super excited as well because not one, not two, not three, but all five of them were happy. And I said, okay, let's go ahead. I want all of you to join in. So, what happens when all of these people invest in your company? Just to understand a bit of investment as well, guys, these people give us money in return for some part of our company, right? It's something similar like, say, imagine if you're buying a pizza which has got 6 slices in it. That means one of your friend and comes and tells you, here is 10 rupees. I'm going to take one slice of the pizza from you. That means one slice of the business from you. The same way, these investors gave us 1 crore rupees and they took 15% of our business with them. That means the owners, they are now 15% owner of this company. Tomorrow, when the company grows, they will also make a lot of money. They will also support us to grow bigger and bigger. That is the role of an investor. The investors will never ask you for profit. They will not ask you for salaries, nothing. What they will look at is that they should actually help us grow so that when the brand or the startup grows, their money will also grow, right? So that is how the investors also make money. I don't want to get into the too many details of how the valuation happens and all. I think it's too young, too early for you guys. But believe in one thing, that from today onwards, you should start focusing on how you could solve a bigger problem. And believe me, when I tell you this, guys, that to solve a bigger problem, you need not always become an entrepreneur and start your own business. Even if you're working for an organization, for a company, you can still have the mind of an entrepreneur. You can solve those problems by thinking very wisely and thinking like an entrepreneur, because that will help you be thinking out of the box, right? Does not mean that just starting your own company itself will make you an entrepreneur. You can also be an entrepreneur being a homemaker, because every day new challenges are thrown at you. You'll have to work, you'll have to get yourself out of it with some solutions or the other. So the entire Shark Tank was such a great experience. And we are all fortunate to see that there are so many companies who are coming up with so creative ideas, right? You must have, so you would have seen someone selling shoes, someone is selling books, someone is selling beverages, energy drinks, someone is selling some kind of a vehicle as well, isn't it? So these are all the entire NOCD. That's also one of the brands which has been selling there. So this tells us that there are ideas which are always required in this country because there are problems that we need to solve. So look out for opportunities, look out for problems, and think about how you can solve them in India. Now, what happens? You would be hearing a lot of terms in the newspapers which talks about unicorn, unicorn. Do you guys know what is a unicorn? Do you want to write it on the chat box? What is a unicorn that you think of? Amazing startup, a company worth $1 billion. Absolutely, guys. Great. You guys are amazing. Yes. So company is called a unicorn when it touches $1 billion of valuation. Now, what is a valuation? Unfortunately, I think I'll have to touch upon this now. So a valuation is basically the value of a company, right? It need not be the amount of sales that a company is making. It is the value of the company in the market. So take the example of Mama Earth. You know that Gazala is one of the sharks at Shark Tank India, right? She just joined in 2 days this week. So Ghazal has founded a company called Mama Earth. How many of you use Mama Earth's product? Do you guys use Mama Earth's product? Just say yes, yes. Oh, wonderful. See, it is such a popular brand. So Mama Earth on 1st of January 2022, this year, became the first unicorn in D2C segment. So that means Mama Earth's value as a company, as a startup, or as a brand was recognized to $1 billion. That means someone has invested in the company and someone has told them that, look, you guys are doing an amazing job, and we believe that your company is worth $1 billion. That means tomorrow, if Mama Earth would want to sell away the company, they should sell it away at least at $1 billion worth. That means they should receive at least 7,000 crore rupees or 74,000 crore rupees, whatever today US dollar is. That is what is called valuation. And 7,000 or 7,400 crore rupees is a very big amount, is it not? How many of you guys have got 7,400 crore rupees with you? None of us, right? So that's how it is. So that is called a valuation. The company has gained some market share in the FMCG brand. The company has created some very unique product. They would have got some patented technology also, because of which, and the growth pattern of this company. Based on all these parameters, the valuation of the company is determined. You would have seen a lot of companies coming up over there and saying, I am valuing my company at 50 crores, I am valuing my company at 20 crores or 10 crores. That is not the sales of the company. That is the valuation of the company. The more efforts you put in, the more hard work that you put in, the more sales that you generate, the good team members that you have, all these contribute to the valuation of the company. And in today's world, people are focusing on creating more value of the company, right? That is how businesses are done these days. They bring in investments and they start to create more value. Now, guys, see, after a few months, you will hear it, hopefully, that even Skippy Ice Pops is raising a second round of funding. So what will we do as an entrepreneur? We'll try to raise our valuation to better amount, so that by giving less portion of the pizza, we can get more money. You got my sense? Last time we had to give an entire slice away. This time we will work hard to give only half of the slice of the company, and we will try to raise not 1 crore, but maybe 5 crores or 10 crores. That is how the valuation of the company works out. And hopefully, someday, if we keep working hard the way we are working today, we will also reach the similar heights as how Mama Earth has taken up these days. So that's how the unicorns of India are coming up. You know, the Bharat Pay is a unicorn. Zomato is a unicorn. Guys, I want you to put in some names of unicorns that you know about. Can you put it in the chat box for me? Tata, Ola, Oya, Big Basket, Paytm, Amazon, Flipkart. Absolutely fantastic. Byju's, yes. Nykaa, Uber. Great, great, guys. You know it perfectly well. I am talking to a bunch of entrepreneurs already, I guess. Looks like you guys are already following up all these companies, huh? That's good. Keep reading about them. Keep understanding how these guys are doing their businesses, because it's very important for you to understand how these companies work. So see, now going forward, what is that my plans would be with for Skippy Ice Pop? So I have also just started off 7-8 months back, and we have been appreciated in the market. People have seen us on television. They are now asking us whether I would want their investments, what are we doing in the future and stuff like that. So as an entrepreneur, we should not get deviated by this fame, this publicity. We need to keep focusing on the main core problem that we're trying to solve. For Skippy Ice Pops, the core problem which we found was the Ice Popsicle is not available in the store of nearest store of every person here. So my focus will always remain to make sure that Skippy Ice Pops is reachable, or it is reaching every nook and corner of India, so that every kid who would want to have an ice popsicle can just walk to the store next one, I'll keep it at home, freeze it and enjoy it. So that is some focus that you should never forget at all, guys. Because if we get deviated with all this publicity and all this investments, then we will lose the track of the major problem that we are trying to solve. The problem has to be solved at any cost, right? All right, so guys, I think I have shared my views, my thoughts. If there are any questions, I'm more than happy to pick up a few questions and answer them. Tanisha, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, sir, for that. You've explained it really well. I think they all would have got a very good idea about entrepreneurship. And Harsh,
Yeah, you can continue. It's audible now.
Tanisha, I think you're on mute.
all those who have questions, you can put them in the chat box. Okay, so we will select and we'll ask, and sir will answer some of them. And sir, until then, we would like to know more about the journey of Skippy. Like, what was the struggles that you faced as an entrepreneur?
Yes, that's something important I forgot to connect with. Guys, being an entrepreneur sounds very fancy, okay? But believe me, it is not that easy. As an entrepreneur, when we decided to start Skippy Ice Pops, we had to run from pole to post to understand how to make these ice popsicles, how to create a good brand, what is the ingredient, what are the ingredients that we need to put in the ice popsicles. We need to understand what is the packaging that we wanted to offer, who is going to be manufacturing it, where to buy the machinery from. So it is a very, very difficult thing to undergo for at least a year or few years before you can actually even take some rest. Being an entrepreneur is all about sacrifices, patience, determination, and persuasion. Sorry. Because in case if you are doing a startup without having your interest in it, you will not be able to continue for a long time. You will need to have your interest vested in the problem in the startup if you really want to go long run. Because being an entrepreneur, it will make you work harder and harder and harder. I don't know how much you guys are studying in your school, but it will be even more difficult for you in terms of being an entrepreneur because school finishes at 3:30 or 4 maybe. But being an entrepreneur, you'll have to work during the nights, during the days, during the afternoons, and also on Sundays, right? Me and Anuja, we have been working for almost like last 10 or 12 Sundays also. We did not get a break because when you dream about something, you need to achieve it. And for that, you'll have to work constantly. We have sacrificed going to movies and we have sacrificed going out on a lot of occasions where my friends were enjoying, but we had to sit down and work, right? You need to be very, very passionate about it. If you are excited about solving the problem, then get into it. Don't get into it just because my friends are doing it, so let me also do it. But yes, the journey of an entrepreneur is going to be very, very tough. We all have to be very dedicated to it.
Right. Thank you, sir. Okay, so Arav Agarwal has a question. How did you convince retail stores to sell your products?
See, Arav, honestly, it is actually a difficult task to convince retailers to take our product because today every retailer has got tens of brands of like if you get into a retail store you will see there are 10 juices, 10 different varieties of chocolates, 10 different varieties of snacks, etc. So it is very difficult unless you give a very good margins, or if you give something very lucrative to a store owner, there is no reason why they will actually place your product. Luckily, in my case, when we walked into the stores, there was no Ice Popsicle brand at all. We were absolutely unique. So when a retailer saw our product, they quickly said, yes, please place it because I will be able to offer something very unique to the customer. So when it comes to your product, and if you want to place it on a retail shelves, you need to give something unique to your product. Either it could be in terms of pricing, margins to the retailer, packaging, or some kind of beautiful offer, or something differently, so that the retailer is convinced that by placing a product on the shelves, he will make more money and his consumers and customers will really enjoy coming back to the store.
Right. Thank you, sir. I hope Arav, you got your answer. Sir, so another student asked that after you've got your funding, what is your plan to use the money and how do you plan to expand Skippy now?
Wow, this is a question which is being asked to me by the investors, but I'm happy to answer that as well. So even before we raise a fund, look, we raised 1 crore. I mean, just to let you guys know that we are actually raising 1.2 crores, and not just 5 sharks. We have got 6 sharks investing in our company. You know, Piyush Bansal from Lenskart.com. So even he's invested into our company. Even he found the brand to be very exciting. So we totally have got 6 sharks now, and we are raising we raised 1.2 crores. So yes, that's a news which has not come into public yet, but we will also be disclosing it very soon. So when it comes to these funds, even before you ask for the funds, you need to be very sure where and what are you going to be using it. You cannot go and walk into a investment round and ask the investors to give you 1 crore without knowing what are you going to be using it for. So in our case, the major thing that we will be using the funds is for increasing our production capacity. Now, how many of you would want to have a Skippy Ice Pops? Let me ask you that. Just say yes or no. If you guys don't want to have a ice pop, say no there. Or if you want to have a ice pop, say yes there. Yes, wonderful. See, everyone wants to have ice pops, right? Now, if I have to give these ice popsicle to each one of you, I'll need to have my production capacity very high. So that is where we are going to be using our ice popsicles to serve you in terms of increasing our production capacity. Second, we will have to build a brand. So we'll be using it in marketing activity. We'll let everyone know that, hey, we are Skippy Ice Pops. We are one of the best ice popsicle brand in India. So this is where our major chunk will be used. First is production capacity, then marketing, and a small portion of the amount will go to the sales team also. We are expanding to different states. We are putting our sales team in different states. So that will also be somewhat part of the expenses. Yeah.
Right. So definitely, if we had this event offline, I think we all could have had one Skippy and would have tasted it. Yeah. Okay. So our next question is by Ojas. He asked that what was the mistake you made as an entrepreneur and some advice that you would like to give us if anybody wants to start their journey in entrepreneurship and things we should keep in mind before we begin.
Awesome. That's a great question. So, as an entrepreneur, the biggest mistake, which I have also done in my past, is trying to spend too fast. The biggest thing which you all need to remember is the numbers have to be very tight and you have to focus on your numbers. Whether it is sales numbers, whether it is projections, whether it is how much money you're going to be spending on your office, your rentals, or your machinery, or anything. These numbers have to be very tight. What I mean by tight is you need to keep focused, that you don't overspend yourself, you don't drive yourself away from the realities of doing a right thing. So I always believe that keeping the numbers have to be very tight. In my past, I had a startup which I had done along with my what happened is I did not focus startup very well, and I continued to spend much more than what was to be spent. So what happened? One final day, I realized that I've lost a lot of money there, and I do not have the money to run my business further anymore. I just had to pay salaries to my employees and tell them that I was really sorry for not being able to continue business, and then I had to close down my startup. So that is a regret that I always have in my mind, that I should always focus on my numbers well, because money is very but very hard to control and to be.
Right. Thank you, sir. I hope Ojas you've got your answer. Okay, so our next question is from Pushkar. He asks that he says that he is under 18 and he has certain ideas with him. So, but as a minor, can he still fundraise and get an investment or investors on board?
Absolutely. Absolutely. There is no age for raising a fund. There is no age for starting a company as well. Even a 9-year-old can raise funds. A 9-year-old also can, start his own company and look at bigger ideas and bigger problems to solve. So if you guys are thinking that, hey, I'll have to wait for to become 18 years before I can start my company or start raising funds, no, guys, that's not the case. You can actually raise funds even today if you have got a good idea. If you guys Google, you'll realize that there are a lot of young kids who have actually raised funds at a very young age, who have become entrepreneurs, who have started their own company at a very young age of 11, 12, 9 as well. So absolutely, you can go ahead and start it right away.
Right. So I think Pushkar, you can begin your journey, and we hope to see something from you soon. Okay. And the next question is from Divya. So, sir, she's asking about what are the intellectual and interpersonal skills that are required to start a company. Like as an entrepreneur, initially you might not have to manage a big team, but you still need the skills that you basically need to convince the investors to come on board. So what are these soft skills that you need them? What are the ones you need, and how do you improve upon them?
Yeah, so I think the soft skills of being an entrepreneur, I would rather focus much upon having a good relationship exercise with everyone who's connected with you. If you are starting to work upon something, you might need some suppliers, some vendors who are giving you some kind of a product. You will have a few small customers of your own. You might have one or two people who are supporting your company as well. So the most important skill which I would believe that you need is to work on your relationship building. It is the most important thing in any kind of a business, that you build your relationship with your team members, with your stakeholders, suppliers, with your customers, and everything. So that's really important. Apart from that, this kind of a communication skills is really important in these days today. Whether you're speaking in English, Telugu, Hindi, whatever language you want to speak, doesn't matter. What is important here is a good communication skills, which is very, very important, because it is important for a leader to communicate his thought process very clearly, so that the entire team also runs in the same direction as what is expected. So, and the third is, try and be bold enough to come and talk to people, to communicate with people about what the problem is, and to face the problems head on. Sometimes we feel a bit shy from talking to people. We feel a bit of shyness in terms of being an extrovert and communicating our ideas with people. I would say it's important for you guys to go out there, talk to people, ask them what are you trying to work on, what is the problem that you're trying to solve, how much did you score in this math so well, what are you doing differently than what I'm doing. So these kind of skills will actually help you become a very good entrepreneur.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. So our next question is from Medha. She is asking, what is valuation, and is valuation and net worth the same?
Okay, so valuation and net worth need not always be the same thing. But people do use valuation and net worth very carelessly, checking upon each other. So let me explain to you what is valuation now. In terms of valuation, there are a lot of contributions which can increase or decrease your company's valuation. All right. For example, sales is one part. What kind of team members do you have is another reason. Third, the market size or the problem that you're solving, is it worth billions of dollars, or are you doing something very small which doesn't have a big demand anyways? And then your focus, your team focus in terms of how you're going to solve these problems, right? All these, and then the competition, how many players are already there competing in the space, or are you the only one? A lot of these points put together contribute to your company's valuation. Just to give you a brief, in technology, most of the times 30x to 40x is the valuation of the company of the revenue. That means in technology, in case if a company is generating say 1 crore of revenue, then around 30 to 40 crores is the valuation of the company, which is considered valuation, right? It is not a thumb rule. I'm just giving you a very ballpark numbers here, just for your understanding. In food industry, it could be sometimes 3x to 4x, because food industry is not very scalable. But in technology, if you create an app, if you create a website, it can scale across the globe, right? So that way it is, even the market size that you are trying to capture can determine the valuation. Now, in terms of Skippy Ice Pops, let me give you that example. I can look at Skippy Ice Pops going to every house in this country, to every part of the country, right? That is why the scope of making a lot of market share, or to make a lot of sales with Skippy is very possible. But if I had been making a very niche product, which only a few people would use it, then probably my valuation would not be very high, because people would think that, oh, this is hardly a 20 crore business at the max that can be done. So I don't think it is going to scale up very high. But when it comes to beverages or ice popsicles like us, if we really work hard, the company could be doing a sale of 100, 200 or 500 crores also. I'm not saying that it will, but there is a chance, right? So based on the value, that valuation can also be determined. Again, the founders of the company are very important. Now, if I was a person who had done nothing in food and beverages and I started off the Skippy Ice Pops, then probably the investors would not have faith in me because I don't know anything about food and beverages. But because I come from 17 years of experience in food and beverage industry and my wife as well, that is why the investors thought that even we are a value to the company. That is how the valuations are determined. So there is no perfect formula as such to determine the valuation of the company. It is from investor to investor that the perception of valuation will change. It will depend on the founders, the market size, the profitability of the company, the sales of the company, the bigger the problem that you're trying to solve. So all these things will matter a lot. I hope I've answered it.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much. So you've cleared my doubts also on the topic and concept of valuation. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Trisha.
Yeah. So our next question is from Pranjal. So he says that he has started a social media marketing firm last year when he was 15, and now they've been growing in the past year, and they're already working with 8+ brands. But his question is, how should he manage his school and studies along with his side business? Because it's all getting a little difficult. And as a side note, he also adds that even they don't take any breaks on weekends.
Okay, great. Tanisha, I just missed the first part. What business was it?
It's a social media marketing firm.
Okay. So what's the question then?
So he is currently 15 years old, and they started this firm last year, and it has been growing since then. And they have already started working with 8+ brands. But along with that, he has to manage his schools and studies. So what tips would you give him to balance both of them?
Oh, firstly, awesome to you guys who are able to get your startup done so quickly at this young age. Balancing your school as well as your startup, I'm sure is going to be very troublesome, very difficult as well. But hats off to you in case if you have started off your startups and you already have got customers there lined up with you. So guys, it is one thing is very important that you need to really complete your education properly. You need to get your complete your education because that will also become a very important factor when it comes to growing your business. Knowledge is the key. We cannot ignore knowledge. Experience is important, but knowledge is also the key. What I would say is it is going to be very hard for you to balance between your school education as well as your startup, but you should continue to do what you want to do at this moment for the next couple of years. Try not to scale up yourself too high, which will impact your school and your education. Continue to maintain those clients, maintain such an amazing relationship that the client does not go out of your reach and to any other vendors, they stay with you. And once you come closer to finishing your education, that is where you can probably start lining up a few more team members who can support your ideas, your digital marketing company, and that way gradually you can grow it. Then too fast, your education is going to get impacted, and I wouldn't suggest that that is a good thing to do right now. But great going, man. If you're already doing it, I have never even thought about being an entrepreneur at this young age, I'll be very honest. But that's up to you guys.
Right. Thank you, sir. Pranjal, I hope you've got your answer. So, sir, also when many times we think of entrepreneurship, there's this image that comes into our minds. It's a very hard journey. It's like a roller coaster ride. So, what is that thing that kept you going and motivated? And at your low points, what was the thing that cheered you up and then that motivated you to keep on going?
Yeah, entrepreneurship is all about a roller coaster ride. You'll have your ups, you'll have your down, you'll have your complete 360-degree turns. Everything is going to happen. That's why I told you guys in the beginning, it is one thing very important is that you should be excited or passionate about the problem that you're trying to solve. Only then you will stay glued. Now imagine you guys watching, how many of you guys enjoy watching comedy movies? How many of you guys enjoy comedy films? Just type in yes. Yes. Wow. Right? Now, when you enjoy comedy movies and I suddenly ask you all guys to go and sit down in a melodrama movie, will you guys enjoy the same? There's a lot of crying and, tragedy and emotions. No, right? So what made you sit throughout the comedy movie for 3 hours and what made you not sit for 3 hours in the melodrama movie? It was just your interest, your passion, your dedication, or your excitement towards watching the comedy movie. It is very similar to what entrepreneurship is also about. If you take up an activity which is not of your interest area, believe me, you will give up one day or the other very easily. One hard hit, and you will say, yeah, this is not something that I can do. Let me just give up. But if you are excited about what you're doing, it will run the show for you. Every day morning, you will get up and say, hey, I want to do this because I'm excited about it. Right? So, because when you become an entrepreneur, I mean, on television, on Shark Tank, it must have looked very easy for all of us. But believe me, when we come back, there are a lot of things which comes and hits us. And we have to keep pushing and pushing and pushing every day. The way I see it is every day we have to have 1 inch of growth, if not more. That consistency, that kind of determination will only take us forward. But if you're not passionate about it, those determination cannot help you. So that is what I'm trying to say. Be focused. If you're not able to think of an idea, don't jump into entrepreneurship. Take your time. It might be 1 month or 1 year. Take your time. Relax upon it. You do not have to be an entrepreneur tomorrow. You can be an entrepreneur when you get the right idea as well. Once you get it, push yourself hard thoroughly, and challenges are going to come. You'll have to be passionate about fighting it out every day.
Right, sir. Totally agree with that. So, sir, there is one more question from Sanvi. So she's asking, what is your strategy to sell Skippy ice pops during winter?
Sorry, Tanisha, I lost you there.
Yes, sir. So I'll repeat it once more. So we have a question from Sanvi. She's asking, what is your strategy to sell Skippy ice pops during the winter season?
Okay, that's a very tricky question, Sanvi, and I really am excited that at such young age you have got this amazing thought process going on. I think you all guys should start coming and joining Skippy Ice Pops. I'll keep some seats open for you all. Great thinkers of tomorrow. So, Sanvi, to answer this question for you, see, during winters, basically, there are a couple of strategies that we are implementing. Firstly, we are going to be introducing a few more products under the Skippy umbrella brand, which will not be impacted by the season, right? That way, what would happen is because by then everyone would have tried Skippy and have created a faith in the brand. The second and third product that we put into the market will easily get accepted. By that, what would happen is we will not lose our sales figures. Our sales will continue to increase. Secondly, we will have to motivate the retailers and the consumers by giving some discounts or by giving some kind of a promotional activity, which will encourage the kids and parents to buy the product as well. Thirdly, one point that you would agree with me that in India today, people enjoy ice creams during winter as much as they enjoy it in summers. Otherwise, all the ice cream brands in India would have not survived for this long. Correct? How many of you guys have actually had ice creams in the winter season as well? Be honest, your mom will do. You can say yes to me. Yeah, see, everyone is raising their hands. Everyone has had ice creams. So similarly, we know that during winters, Ice Popsicle will take a little bit of correction, a little bit of hit for 15 to 25%, I would say, in terms of sales. But then it will not go down to zero. So we are not worried about it. And this was a good question. Everyone needs to think about the entire life cycle of the product.
Right. So yeah, I think we all are guilty of having cold ice creams even in winter season because the love for ice creams doesn't stop in winters. So thank you, Sanvi, for the question. Sir, is there any specific books that you recommend for young or upcoming entrepreneurs?
See, I would say, I know that most of you guys would love to read fiction, right? At this age, I've got my daughter who loves, she's in year 8, and she enjoys reading fiction as well. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, yeah, that's a good book as well. Guys, try and read anything which is real life biographies. any kind of real life biographies of entrepreneurs, you will see a lot of them in the market. Try to spend 5 minutes running through a few pages before you decide to buy a book. If you find those 5 minutes to be interesting, then go ahead and buy the book. I suggest you to read the real life biographies of people like, say, Kishore Biani. You can read about Ratan Tata. You can read about the young entrepreneurs of today's age, because they talk about real life problems. They talk about real situations that they've got into and how they've resolved the problems to come out of it. That way, you will be able to understand what they have come through to come this far. It was not an easy journey for them, and it will help you picturize yourself in those situations, and it will make you understand how you can actually walk out of the problems by doing the way these guys have also done. I enjoy, books of real life stories a lot. One of my favorites is written by, say, Kishore Biani. The book, I suppose, says it happens only in India. So this book was describing of all the problems that he was facing in the retail industry. What are the problems he identified and how fast he decided to solve them. So that gives me, these kind of books gives us inspiration to, the way these people have been working and to the level that they've reached today. I think we should be inspired by them. So any kind of a self biographies would be good.
Right, sir. Thank you. I think I will also add the book to my to-read list, and will be reading that next. And sir, one more question that we have about Skippy's future is: do you plan to expand into other food domains as well?
Yes, we are going to be planning to get into other food domains as well. But one thing is certain, that Skippy as a brand is not about healthy millets, or it is not about creating good flavors or spices. Skippy is all about bringing fun back to your life. Everyone was talking about healthy millets, healthy rice, and whatnot, but everyone forgot to have fun. As kids, you guys would want to have fun day in and day out. That is exactly where Skippy has been positioned, a brand for fun. And that is why the next few products that we will introduce to the market will also focus on fun itself. If you do not have fun while consuming the product, we will not bring it into the market. It should bring a smile to your face, and then we will probably get Skippy's new products also into the line. Probably in the next 6-8 months, you'll see more products coming in.
Right. Thank you, sir. So as we are nearing our time, so we have a last question for you. So what is your opinion? Does India need more businessmen or entrepreneurs?
That's a good question. Like I said, businessmen are more towards making profits. They are more towards earning good money. And there's nothing wrong in that, right? A lot of people should do a business because they have financial requirements, financial commitments for their family or their children. So there's nothing wrong in that at all. But a lot of entrepreneurs do get into entrepreneurship to solve a big problem. I think entrepreneurship is something that we all should start looking at a very young age, because the more entrepreneurs that India generates, the faster the problems are going to get solved. Look at this, guys. 10, 15 years back, he could not order an ice cream sitting at a home. Today, with a click of a button, he delivers everything that you need, right? Dunzo delivers everything that you need. If you want to buy a t-shirt, Flipkart can deliver you a t-shirt right away. If you want a doctor to suggest why you are putting on weight, you can get onto an app, talk to a doctor and understand how you can reduce your weight. So these are real life problems that an entrepreneur has been solving. The more entrepreneurs that India has, the lesser the problems we will have. So I completely believe entrepreneurship is the way to go.
Right. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir, for that very insightful session. I think all of us today have learned something new. And from our team of NEO, we would like to wish Skippy all the very best for the future.
Tanishka, just before you go, I want you to let everyone know that I am so excited to see this young generation with such a great, amazing thought process, that Skippy is offering some exclusive discounts for this bunch of entrepreneurs whom I'm talking to today. I'm sure one of your team members, Harsh, can put down the coupon code and the website link in the chat. For everyone who wants to try Skippies, we are very happy to share this coupon with you.
Right, sir. Definitely. Harsh, you can put it in the chat box. And
Yeah.
everybody, yeah, you can
You
access
also receive this in your WhatsApp message groups as well as through WhatsApp bot.
We will also put this on the WhatsApp groups that we have made along with the chat box here. And thank you very much, sir, for joining us today. It was wonderful listening to you and the journey of Skippy. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. The pleasure has been all mine speaking to such young minds. I can see a lot of people over here becoming these big entrepreneurs tomorrow. I hope I have been able to give you some clarity and to even inspire you to a bit so that you guys can take one step further to become an entrepreneur and solve real life problems here. Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me in the first place. Thank you, Harsha. Thank you, Tanishka. Looking forward to doing more such sessions. Thank you.
Yes, definitely. Thank you so much, sir.
Thanks a lot,
you.
sir.
Bye.